I've been making content on this channel for, I honestly don't know how long. But what I will say is I know a common denominator why most of you guys are losing money from influencers I see online, and I'm gonna break this down. But I wanna say something before we go into that, because this really isn't my educational channel. I have a second channel for that. I'll go into that here in a second. But I wanted you guys to see, when I started making content back in 2020, 2021, I had something that sat right above my desk, and it doesn't sit anymore because it really just doesn't match anything. But this is what it was. It's kind of been sitting in storage. You can't see, okay, what it says is purpose over popularity. Now, in this space specifically, I could have sold out. I could have gone to the extremes of being a perma bull on some of these meme stocks. I could have made videos that would get more popularity. I could have, hung around a crowd of individuals and kind of incubated myself with getting more followers. But I've stayed true in my sense to what I do. So I want people to understand when I'm making content here, it's not to make anybody feel good. It's to express what I look at in the market and give you my honest viewpoint of it. So whenever you see a video and you disagree with it, I encourage you guys to disagree. I encourage you guys to have educated arguments with me, right? And the best medium is typically Twitter, so I can go back and forth, and I don't mind that. It's good usually. But again, take advantage of it. But let's get into it, and let's really be open to why you're most likely losing money. Now, I'm going to go into the charts, and I'm going to break this down. But first, I just want to do the promos, right? Again, if you want educational content, I have a second YouTube channel. It's Tyler Wilson OD. I'll have a link down below, probably the top link, that takes you straight to the channel. But all I post over there is educational content. That's all I post for futures, options. It's all I post over there. Also to Twitter, where I'm posting either education, what I'm looking at in the market. This is all free tools for you guys. Twitter was down, so I really couldn't post today. But anyway, so you see everything that's there as well, what I'm looking at. Again, it's all there for free. So again, I would take advantage. Now, as we go into this, and this is not paid, this is free information. If you're in Discord, then you know. If you are interested in Discord, the link is down below as well, where we trade every single day. You can take advantage of that as well. Again, some really great trades on the day with, Amazon specifically. But again, traders killing it so far in the day. Once again, futures called the bottom here as well. But let's explain why. I'm really talking about futures here today. Dude, look at this massive drop on NASDAQ. 700-point downside, right? Okay. When you are looking to trade stocks, the number one issue I see on Twitter, on YouTube, on all these social media platforms is we are focused on the wrong things. Now, again, if you're looking to trade Nvidia, if you're looking to trade Tesla, if you're looking to trade Apple, occasionally you won't follow the market with those occasionally, maybe 1 out of 20 times. But 90% of the time, your favorite stock will follow what the futures or the index is doing, specifically the NASDAQ. 9 out of 10 times, you're trading tech names. If you're trading healthcare, you probably follow the Dow or what's happening with healthcare. Okay, so when I look at this and what I see people do, what I see all over social media, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, okay? And I'll explain why. But I see people heavily charting SPY, and I'm not saying SPY is not good. I'm not saying the SPY isn't a great thing to trade. It's not good for finding key levels. Occasionally, it is. But again, if you followed all these social media accounts, you followed all what they were saying, you would be lost today. You'd be utterly confused, because a big instance here is the S&P SPY coming into your 200 daily moving average. And you did try to hold it. You did. But the thing is, you broke this level when you look at futures. And I'm going to explain exactly why you need to be watching futures more than watching SPY, more than watching Qs. Because look at what SPY, and this is the S&P 500 SPY futures, right? Look what's happened. This is the daily chart. You broke the 200 SMA on March 4th, and you've held below 2 days, and then you shot down a day. This was one of the easiest downside plays in the market. Now, again, it doesn't matter if we start reversing back to the upside. Futures are still the most important aspect. Why? Let's explain why. So when we look at after-hour charts, for instance, I never really count. I don't really care to see those, right? Like, I don't really care to see SPY in the after hours because the volume coming into it is almost negligible. It's such a small quantity. Like if I look at, for instance, in pre-market and I see Microsoft up $5, but then you've seen market open and it drop back down, right? We've seen this happen time and time. You've seen this happen on stocks. I don't need to go over more examples. You've seen it, but it's because in the pre-market, in the after hours, you have less overall volume traded. Now, the thing about NASDAQ that's interesting, and the thing about for instance, or we'll use ES, for instance, and we'll use SPY, the future, and then obviously the index, right? So you look at SPY or the ETF, right? In the after hours, the volume is tremendously lower. Tremendously, right? That's what we see the most volume right when market open and right when market closes, the most volume you see traditionally throughout the day. But on futures, although volume is significantly less, I will agree, you're still getting major economies trading it. You're still seeing London open, New York session, or the Tokyo and Asia session, right? Big amounts of money are still being impacted in trading on the market. So that's why you're able to get more overall data and more reliable data. So when we look at the 200 flipping here, we already knew what was happening. So when you're looking at this, you should be hyper fixated on what ES and what NASDAQ are doing. That should be the number one thing. And you're going to see this happen more often than not. So I believe next year they're talking about the NASDAQ being traded 24/7 and things along those lines too, or 24/5 throughout the week, which you can kind of already do. So I don't really understand that. Maybe there's some about the ETFs. But again, it's important to understand that this is where you have to focus. I have seen so many people lose their shit. One of the biggest things I see of people joining Discord is not understanding the difference of futures, and then they come in and they understand, oh, this is what's really guiding me. Now, obviously, you have to know your levels and what you're looking for there, but I'm telling you, the proof is there. When you understand what futures are doing, you have a better viewpoint of what your stock and what your equity you're trying to trade is going to do. Now, again, I do most of my education on the second channel, so I recommend following there if you want to get better, deeper dives. Because again, I don't want to do a lot of edits on this channel. This is more of like updates and news along those lines. But again, this is so important. Another key visual is you'll get contracts rolling over, things along those lines. Like for instance, if I go and look at what's happening on ES, my next major level is down here at March highs, April 1st, March highs, right? Basically 55.50, 55.30. You go into NASDAQ, again, it was your March highs on the day. And we're going to talk about this. Your previous highs back here from March 20th. If you watched any of my previous videos, that was our target down to 19.5. Again, this morning, again, I'm just showing you exactly what we look for, exactly what we do to show again that this works. This morning, 8:05 a.m., the NASDAQ, it was at 19.95, right? We looked for the retest and the shot back down. Well, what happened at market open? Let's just break this down just a little bit. Oh, that's surprising. You shoot up, you reject, and then you go straight down to the gutter. But where are we finding our targets from? Are we finding them from Qs, right? Because I'm going to go into Qs here in a second. No, we're looking for these on futures. So when we go back, we already know what we're looking for. Reject from 19.95, looking for 19.808, and then a possible big breakdown to 19.5, the 19.500 range, right? Because it's a range, not a key, just overall level. Now, if we go to Qs, remember, this is highs from March. Where are our highs from March on QQQ? Guys, these are the respective levels from Qs. That is why you're missing it out. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a big level, 450. I'm not saying that. But you're not getting key data. You're not getting the information. If I look here at the Q chart, you're kind of in the middle. You could mark out this low right here, maybe at 477, but you're in no man's land. You have no information. Maybe a little SR flip here, but you can see going back to NASDAQ and futures, it's clear as day. Like you cannot tell me this is not easier to see exactly where you're going to and how we're able to mark out that key SR flip, what's happening there. Time and time and time again. So when you go to on social media and you look at these traders, and it's not me talking down, it's me trying to educate you guys. Because again, yeah, we have paid content, we do. Right? I'm not going to lie, we have paid content. But I try to give you guys as much free content as available. Because again, people are like, well, how do you do this? It's just understanding what's really moving the market. It's not about feelings, it's not about emotions, it's not about what I think is going to happen. It's about where the market's been, where the market's going, and how the market is reacting to those specific levels. That is it. There's no secret recipe, there's no secret formula. It's a rational viewpoint of me looking at the market. And again, when we go back and we look at what's happened overall in the market over the past, few weeks, right? And even on Friday, what did we tell you? What was the big thing that we told you on Friday? I posted a video also on Twitter, right? This goes deeper and past the viewpoint of what I was going to say with, futures. But this is a very important metric to look at. I posted this video on Twitter. I posted it here as well on YouTube. You can go, I mean, you guys probably watched it. Twitter's like kind of fucked up right now. But again, you go to your channel, let's go to my channel really quick. It was the video from it was Friday's video for sure. I think it was this one. The S&P 500 is about to shock everybody. Okay. And I said there, everything Jerome Powell said points to more downside about why we're looking at it. So it's important when you're looking at the market, if you really want to make money, if you really want to see success in the market, guys, I'm telling you, this is the secret that no one talks about. Be logical and rational. Okay, that's step one. We want to be logical. We want to be rational, meaning we're not having delusions of grandeur, right? Where we're just expecting massive wins every single day. No, we want to be logical, where we're expecting a relative move within areas that we're watching. We have a clear plan when we go into the market. We want to be rational, that we understand it's very unlikely in irrational thinking to assume that we're going to have big wins every single day, but we have to understand how to trade and make that trading consistent and repeatable, right? That's number one. And then number two, don't try to predict things, and don't try to know things that you don't know. So if you have no fundamental education on the market, don't even try to go to the fundamental route. Don't even try. Okay? Focus on the technicals. Focus on what you know and what you're learning. Stop trying to over guess, right? That's why, again, when you go into NASDAQ, 9 out of 10 times, if you know how the NASDAQ is going to move, you know how your equities are going to move. If you know the NASDAQ breaks below 19,808 and it's going to drop down like a rock to 1905, well, then I don't need too many levels on my NVIDIA chart to know that we're going to drop. Now, I need levels so I know where we're going to find support. And again, we post this in Discord where we knew exactly where support was going to be, but it's important that if you know where the underlying index is going to go, that you kind of already know what direction you're going to be trading in, right? That's the main visual here, okay? So we want to focus on what we know, or at least the thing that we're trying to know. So if you're trying to learn how to find key levels, supply and demand, only focus on that. Stop focusing on everything else. Stop trying to add new indicators. Stop. The last thing I will say is when you eventually get to fundamentals, or if you're at the point of learning fundamentals, stop trying to be the smartest guy in the world. There's no point. You don't need to be the smartest guy in the room. You don't need to predict the next economic collapse. You don't need to predict and be, oh, well, CNBC is not seeing the vision. And there's this. No, we don't need to do all that. All you need to do is usually take a step back, listen to, number one, what the Fed is saying about the market. Believe it or not, what the Fed is saying probably has the biggest indication of where the market's going to go. Who would have thought? It's been that way for the past 2 or 3 years. Spoiler alert. And then maybe look at the policy that we're putting in place from our administration. Is the president of the United States announcing tariffs? Yes. Are tariffs, historically speaking, not what you think or what you think is going to happen with our economy, historically speaking, are tariffs bullish for the market? And then you add in, well, historically speaking, when interest rates are at all-time highs, or interest rates are at peaks for the last 10 years, is that bullish? Well, no, Timmy, it's not. So again, stop trying to be the smartest guy. I see that all the time. There's no reason. Just take it, simplify it. It should be rational. It should be logical. But again, you don't need to overcomplicate it. The same thing with our charts. They're not overcomplicated. We don't have a billion indicators. Keep it simple. Stay focused. Remember, there's no prize. No one cares if you win. Honest to God, right? The purpose of this channel is to just voice my opinion, to give a unbiased, realistic, trustworthy opinion. Right? If you come to the channel, I give you an opinion. You don't say, "Oh, well, Tyler's being paid to say that." Tyler has some motives, right? He has a motive to say X, Y, and Z. If I have a position, I tell you. If I don't have a position, I tell you. That is the purpose of my channel. That is the purpose of what I do here, right? I don't care if you make money. I do not care. If you make money, cool. I'm like, that's awesome. Cool. Occasionally I get a nice email. Someone's like, dude, you changed my life. I'm like, I didn't change your life. I just talked about what I did, and you started applying some principles to your trading. You made the change. You put in the effort. You put in the work. I'm just a guy that sits here, says my opinion from a just normal viewpoint, and then you guys just do whatever you want with it. That's how this happens here. I am not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm not stock Jesus. I'm not here to save your portfolio. I'm here to just give rational viewpoints and hopefully have educated, good conversations with you guys as well. If you want to follow on Twitter, do it. You want to Discord, do it. YouTube, again, the link will be down below as well. I appreciate you guys. Market update video coming out later. Have a good one, traders.